about to go hit the intramural court and play basketball. Little pickup game.
Okay.
I'm not
Walk
going to
with your big ass in the post. You over there trying to run points.
I won't bring it down. I just asked for when we get across half court, though.
Yeah,
I'll let you bring it down the court. I don't care about that. But once I get this, I'm taking over and shooting. I'm shooting everything.
Let me see. One more time.
It feels good now. Make sure they jam it in the hood loud. When you roll slow in a lane with a whip with no stains, get a taste with the fame like hanging with my big homie solo. Standing still ain't better than slow-mo. Favorite ain't fair, we live a blessed life. Talking all that trash on the best style. What they wanna say now? Comfortable in my own skin. I like who I am. The good vibes keep on bumping. Turn it up, that's my jam. I feel good. How you feeling? I feel good. So good.
What's up, everybody? I'm Jordan Babineaux, hanging out with my brothers and good friends. You guys know them as ballers on the football field. I know them as brothers. To my far right, Marcus Trufant, Hall of Famer, Big Walter Jones.
Yes, sir.
To my left, Super Bowl champ Cliff Avril.
Make sure you let them know.
And my frat brother, Ben Obomanu. We're here just to have a real conversation and bring to you some of our insights and experiences as African American and black men, not only in sports, but also in America. The NFL faced a big and major headline, Brian Flores versus the NFL, in terms of the NFL not having suitable practices when hiring African Americans. And this isn't the first time it's happened. We're now starting to see more coaches be transparent about their experience with ownership and the NFL. I want us to talk through this conversation with this in mind. How can we hold the NFL owners and franchises accountable for hiring practices that's fair, particularly associated with minorities in leadership positions? There's one team president in the history of the NFL that's African American, Jason Wright of the Washington football team.
The league's full of what, 78% African Americans?
Over 70% of African American. In 2003, there were 3 African American head coaches. Here we are, 2022. There's 1. General managers, with the new available positions now, there's up to 7. There's 7 minority general manager positions that have now been filled in the league. Let's talk about race in sports.
I'm saying right now, I think, since y'all taking y'all time, I think, you know, what's interesting is, for all of us that have played, was any of y'all surprised at the Flores stuff?
No.
And you know what? The irony in that is 99% of the players in the league, or at least the black players in the league, were not shocked by that news, right? We see this. But the race piece of it, though, for the coaches, for even the players, because I've heard the argument is like, oh, the players got all they control it all, right? So if they just decided, you know, players want to make a stance, if they just decided to say, you know what, we're not going to play today, for their coaches, for the inequality for coaches and whoever else, you know what I mean? Like that'll send a message. It's like the league is constructed in a way where, think about this, bro. It's not that many guys on the roster that make that much money. So it's easy for 10-year vet Cliff Avril to tell all the young players, like, hey, man, let's sit out this game. We ain't playing this game. The young players looking at me like, man, my check is only you making. I'm living check. It's easy. It's easy for you to tell me that, right? Because I've been the young person who's looking at the old vet like, I mean, sure, you know what I'm saying? Like,
that's what I want to do.
If that's what I want to do, but I don't know. I don't even understand what you're telling me right now. You know what I mean? Like, my mom still needs you, whatever. So we don't have the control like people think we had the control. So for me, it's just more along the lines of like, we have to come together and find a way for a solution. But we're not surprised about all the racial issues that's going on in the league because of how it's ran.
You think about the history of racism in our country and allyship. Like, who are the people that help facilitate that change? It has to be a non-black person to come in and help out. When, for me, for instance, all the stuff that I've done before, law school and all that, we always hear these words, right? Diversity, inclusion, equity. The NFL does, end racism. The main point is that's something for them, the black players. The owners sit back and people in positions of power in the NFL league offices come back and say, yeah, so here's something for you guys. Here's your Black History Month celebration. Here's your end racism. Here's your gift to help you guys overcome those boundaries that are in place. The system is in place. And the problem is nobody else chooses to say, well, I'll be the first person to hire that black coach. I'll go out and hire a black coach this year. I'm an owner. I see it. I see what's going on. They don't do it. They always, pass the buck and say, well, somebody else can do it. Somebody else probably can hire a black GM, a black coach. Somebody else probably can do it. And I think that's the issue. We don't hold them accountable. It's not. It shouldn't be up to Brian Flores, and it shouldn't be up to players, like you said, Cliff. Not just from money disparity, but it shouldn't be up to the black players come back in to advocate for a black coach. If you're a white coach and you see disparity yourself and say, hey, I'm a white coach and I've been coaching for 25 years in the league. I never got a head coaching job. Not only do I not like the black coach not getting hired, but I don't like the coach that was hired that came from a high school program. I only spent 2 years as coordinator. He passed me up too. So where are those coaches that are coming up saying, hey, all right, I got a problem. You didn't hire Brian Flores. You didn't hire, Eric Bieniemy. But, I'm vouching for them, but I'm also vouching for that's an improper hire. That person that you just hired wasn't qualified for that job. You should hire somebody else. They don't even say that. And I think that's where change kind of comes from is if it's all us, singing to the choir all the time, preaching about, hey, we need change.
That would just look like a bunch of complaints.
Fear is a real thing, though. If you fear of losing the bag and they're going to take that from you, if you step out of line and you step and you jump over and you cross over to this, you run the risk of losing your livelihood.
Coaches have the same issue we have, in a sense of all you have is one bad season, you out of there, right? For the most part. So most people are not trying to jeopardize their bag to get somebody else a bag. You know what I'm saying? To get some money, right? So I feel like that plays a role too, in a sense of how the league is structured it's a dog-eat-dog. It's a dog-eat-dog type of space, right? So they give you enough to make sure you're working hard to stay in it, but you really 1 foot in, 1 foot out. All it takes is one injury.
Always.
All it takes is one injury, you out. All it takes is one losing season. You know what I'm saying? So everybody's expendable. So when everybody's expendable, it's hard for you to like jump off the deep.
It's hard to work together and try to get ahead.
It's hard for you to be like, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna risk my livelihood to get somebody else to get theirs right. You know what I'm saying?
The league is all about recycling coaches anyway. So like you said earlier, it's all about what they feel comfortable with. Even if this coach goes somewhere and play bad, they feel more comfortable hiring that coach. Now this new age now is the younger guys. Now they want a new face. Now are they giving us that opportunity? No. But they're giving these young guys 36 years old a head coach. Like, man, that's crazy. But now they're giving those guys that's giving a different approach. They're not giving a different approach. But I told you, for me personally, like I always say, you give younger faces that, like you say, that give kids opportunity to say, oh, I can do that. I don't have to actually be on the field to be part of the football game. So for me personally, I enjoy the fact of seeing younger people because I think a lot of time with a lot of these older coaches, it gets stale and get old sometimes. So you have to always give guys something new to keep them involved because it can get old and get stale. So I think from that standpoint, but still, again, you have to try to give us an opportunity to a chance to show that we can coach and not 1 or 2 years where some coaches get 4, 5, 6 years to prove themselves. But we don't have one time and we got to turn around now.
And that's a problem too, right?
Yep.
Because I feel like the reason why you say like most times than not, you want to be the athlete or whatever, like representation matters, right? So if you don't see that, you don't believe you can be that, right? That's so that plays a role too, right? And why guys might feel like they're capped out at being a position coach. Because they don't see a lot of black head coaches. They don't see a lot of owners. They don't see a lot of managers. So they feel like that, okay, this is the limit. I've been around some of the black coaches in the league and all of them, like, they're looking like, this is just what it is. Like, this is just how far we can go. And until they start seeing more guys, just get the opportunities. Because I think some people get it confused. Nobody's asking for a handout. You know what I'm saying? You just want an even playing field to be able to compete and actually have a real shot at this position. And I think a lot of times folks look at it like, oh, people want handouts. No, we just want an even playing field. And then we'll go from there. We'll go from there. But give us a real opportunity to be able to get those positions. Then I think we'll see more head coaches that are black, more owners that are black. Because now, like for my kids, for example, first thing I tell them, like, you don't just have to be a player. You can be an owner. You can be somebody in the front office, and sometimes they'll look at you kind of sideways. It's like, but no, those things exist, and you can be that. You know what I mean? But if you're not seeing it, it's hard to believe that.
Right.
As we wrap this episode of Talking Shop, the players agree that there's more than just the campaign marketing initiatives by the NFL of end racism and creating equality. How do we hold the NFL and players and organizations accountable for the hiring practices associated with hiring minorities in leadership positions? More to come. Stay tuned.
Comfortable in my own